Bridezilla charged all us bridesmaids $650 for the Bachelorette trip when her daddy already covered it. She didn't think we'd find out. So, about 6 months ago, the bride, aka my sister-in-law, planned her destination Bachelorette trip and charged each of the 11 bridesmaids $650 for the Airbnb. I was salty about the high cost, but she's my sister-in-law, so I said whatever and just paid. I also was suspicious about the high price, so I cross-checked the Airbnb listing, and it checked out. To be perfectly clear, my sister-in-law booked a beachfront house that ran us a little over $2,300 a night. Well, today I'm chatting about wedding stuff with my brother, who is marrying the future sister-in-law, and he said something along the lines of, "What a relief her dad paid for the Airbnb because that would have been so expensive for your group." I about choked, and I said, "Hey, are you sure about that? Because all 11 girls paid $650 for the house alone, maybe you should double-check with her." His face turned purple, so I take it he had no idea. To add to the greed going on here, when I got married, I flew her out, paid for her accommodations, paid for her hair and makeup, paid for her bridesmaid dress, and paid for transportation because she was going through a hard time. Now she has the nerve to steal from me. I get that weddings are expensive, but don't have one if it requires stealing from your bridesmaids. I assume I'm the only bridesmaid who is aware of what's going on here. Not sure if I should spill to the group or just let it go. There's a chance her dad stepped in and paid for it after the fact, and she just chose not to refund us. I'm not clear on the exact situation and want to avoid embarrassing my brother. Update 1. Thanks for all the advice and support. Yes, I agree with most of you who are saying I'm morally obligated to spill the beans because $650 is not child's play. This is what I'm going to do. First, I'm going to talk to my brother and give him a chance to clear it up with sister-in-law. Before I make a scene, I want to understand what's really going on. For example, did daddy pay for the trip, but sister-in-law decided to put that towards a different wedding expense? Things like that. That answer will determine when and how I tell the rest of the bridesmaids. I'm going to give my brother only 1 to 2 days because this trip is literally next week. Update 2. Alright, so I regrouped with my brother. My mom also stepped in, bypassed my brother, and got some more info directly from her dad. Apparently, future sister-in-law's dad did not offer to cover the cost until a few months after we all paid for the trip. This was after he found out the cost and was pissed that she chose a $2,300 a night house and asked us to pay. Apparently, he threatened not to pay for the wedding if she added more expenses onto the wedding party. Turns out she originally wanted it at the Maldives, and he forbid her. According to my mom, who chatted with him directly, he felt embarrassed when he heard about the Airbnb price and wanted to save face with my side of the family. So he gave sister-in-law about $7,000 to cover the cost of the house, and she was supposed to refund us, but obviously that never happened. Then my mom went total FBI mode and learned that in addition to not paying us, sister-in-law didn't put the money towards a different wedding expense either. She doesn't have it, so where did it go? What did she spend it on? There is currently a full-blown investigation going down between our two families right now. I have been asked by my mom not to alert the bridesmaids just yet until we get the last bits of info and come to a resolution with both sister-in-law and her dad. But we will tell them ASAP one way or another. Update 3. So, some more stuff to unfold. As all this drama is happening, the maid of honor, who doesn't know what's going on yet, is continuing her duties. We all get a 4-paragraph text from her outlining the dress code for each night of the Bachelorette, per the bride's orders. Keep in mind the bride is asking us all to go out and buy new outfits for each night of the trip. And the themes are wild: animal print Thursday, faux fur Friday, sparkle dress Saturday, and Barbie brunch Sunday. As if we're all going to go out and buy that crap 1 week before the trip, or at all after what she's done. Thankfully, the bridesmaids seem to be waking up to the BS stewing. Several of them wrote back saying they won't be able to pull together those outfits in time, and one flat out said it's just not going to happen. But that's just a side story to the absolute crap show that is unfolding. My mom is very involved now as she's paid a decent chunk of this wedding as well, and does not like that the bride is throwing around thousands of dollars from her dad as well as lying to the bridal party. She set up a meeting directly with sister-in-law to cut the BS and explain what's going on. She told sister-in-law she's going to inform the bridesmaids herself unless she gets a valid answer. At this point, I'm just shoveling down popcorn waiting for the events to unfold. I will be back tonight with hopefully the final update. Update 4. A swan ice sculpture. She used the $7,000 to book a swan-shaped ice sculpture to be displayed at the reception and didn't tell anyone. Turns out her dad banned her from adding any more extras to the wedding design because it was already so expensive and unnecessary. When he Venmo'd her for the Airbnb, she thought she was being sneaky and kept it instead. She didn't even tell my brother this. He only found out that her dad decided to cover the Airbnb because those two went out for drinks one night and it came up. So, that mystery is solved thanks to my mini FBI crew, but now the real questions remain. Where the hell is my $650, and how do I break the news to the bridesmaids? Out of the kindness of her soul, My mom is giving sister-in-law 24 hours to confess to the bridesmaids and figure out how to pay us back our money. Because you know what, I did not spend $650 on some damn ice. I have kids to feed, bills to pay. It is taking everything in me not to text the group chat right now, but my mom is trying to give sister-in-law one opportunity to do the right thing. Update 5. Okay, so this is a long update, and I'm going to try and get everything in. First, let's start with the bride's explanation to her family, which is myself, my mom, her fiancé, aka my brother, and her dad. She broke down crying, saying that wedding planning has been getting to her head, and she has been crushed under the pressure to have the perfect wedding, which she felt couldn't go on without this alleged ice swan. I didn't buy her sob story. After this whole incident, I think she is a delusional, controlling, attention-starving Bridezilla who is using the wedding as a way to compete with other girls on Instagram. By the way, her job is influencer if I didn't mention that yet. My brother took the bait. To be honest, I don't even blame him. This is his future wife, and he said he wants to help her with her mental health and get her back to a good place. He is disturbed by the situation but will continue to support her. The wedding is on, for those who are curious. Next, let's get into the matter of the missing $7,000 and whether we're getting our money back. The sad, gut-wrenching answer, probably not. Her dad said he has already paid the Airbnb cost once, and he will not do it again. He said his daughter is 31 and needs to get herself out of her own mess and figure out how to make it right. She chimed in that the $7,000 is gone and asked how she would possibly pay us back, and my brother refused to pay for her screw-up. While I love that everyone is finally forcing this bride to be an adult, I would like my money back more. Unfortunately, we're not going to get it unless she magically wins the lottery or gets a real job. For those that asked, there is nothing we can do legally. We all willingly paid a fixed amount, and we would have to move mountains and spend more to sue. Plus, while she was incredibly shady and a terrible friend, she technically didn't do anything wrong that we could prove. Now onto the bridesmaids. After some threats from my mom, sister-in-law finally broke down and contacted the bridesmaids in our group chat. She sent a text that made my skin crawl. Hey ladies, you're my bride squad, so I feel compelled to share that my dad recently offered to pay for our beach accommodations. However, being that the wedding is so expensive, I have decided to put his donation towards a wedding expense. I hope you all understand and I can't wait to party with you all next week. Oh hell no, I immediately replied back, making sure everyone knew the expense was an ice sculpture. An ice swan, absolutely ridiculous. Many of them replied and expressed how they would have loved to use that $650 for something more important, but ultimately, no one has backed out. One of the girls started a side chat without the bride and asked if there's any chance of getting our money back if we force sister-in-law to cancel the reservation. Unfortunately, since we're only a week out, we aren't eligible for a refund. They decided to go through with the Airbnb or else it would be a literal waste of $650. As for myself, I'm in the same boat. I would rather run myself over than go on this trip. But $650 is not a small amount, and I can't fathom just throwing it down the drain. I haven't made my final decision yet. If I do go, it will solely be to avoid eating the $650 plus my airfare. I will not be doing any of the planned events or outfits, or contributing even $1 more. I would have my own mini vacation as best I can. I'm really upset that it seems like this crazy person is going to get her way after all. Edit. There are so many curious comments coming in, so I want to keep you in the loop. The side text without the bride popped off, and we have all agreed to do the following. We will be going on the trip, but it is no longer a bachelorette trip. We will all be taking personal vacations with our significant others while staying at the property. We were forced into this beachfront mansion plus airfare, so we're going to make the most of it. We have all backed out of hosting and paying for the bridal shower. The bride will need to find another way to move forward if she wants to have it. We will attend as guests if she has it, and we will not be gifting anything. The mother of the bride is absolutely furious, more on this later. We're letting the bride know she needs to cancel the ice swan and give us our money back. After some more research, we doubt all of the $7,000 went towards the alleged swan because it doesn't seem like they cost that much. I won't be back for a while, so stay well everyone. Update 6. Sorry it took me so long to write this, because I am at a complete and utter loss for words. Where to begin? Let me start with this: there is no ice swan. There never was an ice swan. It was all an elaborate fabrication designed to distract everyone from where the missing $7,000 actually went. Turns out there was a reason behind sister-in-law's luxury bachelorette location. Here's what happened: all the bridesmaids show up to the beachfront mansion with our significant others. Sister-in-law had already been made aware that it was no longer a bachelorette, but to our complete shock, she was still stunned that we actually meant it. She arrived last in her pre-booked limo, absolutely fuming that no one else showed up to the limo meeting spot at the airport. She was the only one still sticking to the original itinerary. Then she was flabbergasted that our significant others were with us. It was a comedy show at best. Anyway, We went about our individual mini vacations, and eventually, someone realized it had been about 48 hours since anyone had seen sister-in-law. I assumed she was mad and either flew home or went to stay somewhere else. Then the unthinkable unfolds. Sister-in-law rolls up the driveway in a wheelchair being pushed by 2 female nurses. The entire group jumped into action. Thinking something horrible had happened, everyone ran over to see what was going on, but the nurses ushered us away and wheeled sister-in-law into her room. At this point, I'm actually very concerned. We're all knocking on her door asking if she's okay. The nurses eventually leave and say they legally can't reveal the nature of her health issue but assure us she's fine. I call my brother and mom but get no answer, so I finally decide to call her mom, aka the mother of the bride, who was furious that we took over the bachelorette party. Her mom revealed what actually took place. She isn't sick, she didn't have a health issue, and there was no accident. She got her Lululemons done. Yes, folks, you read that correctly. She had planned, as part of the original itinerary, to disappear for an afternoon and return with a set of new melons. The location of the beachfront mansion is conveniently 5 minutes away from a very famous cosmetic surgeon's office. The reason she needed this giant property was not really to host 11 girls, it was to host 11 girls plus the surgery recovery nurses and personal chef she had reserved for after the operation. There is so much more that we need to unpack, I honestly don't know where to begin. What was her mother's knowledge and involvement in all this? What was the cost of the procedure? I'm guessing close to $7,000. What was the purpose of the ice swan lie? Where does this leave my brother? So many questions remain. I am only a few hours back from this trip, so this is all the information I have right now. I was intending for this to be my final update, and I've already revealed a great deal of info, and so to protect my brother's privacy moving forward, I think I need to step away from the updates. Update 7. So, let me start with this, the wedding is officially off. I know a lot of you out there were team cancel the wedding, so this should warm your soul. For me, personally, I wanted it to work out for my brother despite her insanity. I was kind of hoping this would somehow all blow over like a bad dream and he could find normalcy again. Unfortunately, that is not at all the case. Here's what happened. When I last updated you, sister-in-law had pulled up to the Bachelorette with a set of new melons and shocked us all. We were left wondering WTF, and I told you I needed to stop the updates to protect my brother's privacy. Well, that has all changed now, and I've been given permission by my brother to spill the tea. My brother was aware that sister-in-law had planned on getting a melon augmentation at some point this year. He actually knew it would be during the Bachelorette trip. Despite thinking it was very weird, he really wanted to support her, so he kept her surprise a secret. What he did not know was that she may have used the bridesmaids' money, or even her dad's, to finance it. But it turns out that she did not, in fact, use our money or her dad's money to pay for the new melons. That's because her procedure was on the house. Why, you might ask? Because she has been having an affair with the surgeon for over a year. Yes, you read that correctly. She's been getting it on with her married plastic surgeon for more than 14 months. He is a very well-known plastic surgeon, and his legal team has been on me like white rice. There are limits to what I can disclose, and at this current moment, I have been advised not to disclose the state he practices in, his name, or any personally identifying details. Anyhow, he wanted to fly her out for a complimentary Lululemon upgrade, and we found out because his wife found her sad little influencer Instagram page, tracked her down, and showed up to the family home, which would be her father's house because she still lives there. There is so much more to say that I think I'm going to have to split this into 2 updates because my fingers are legit going numb. I really wanted to get that off my chest. I promise I will be back someday in the future to finish this horror story.